Welcome to Podtiez. It's your boy Taylor.
And it's your host, JB.
And we got
Tosan.
Hey,
What's
nice
up,
bro?
To meet you. Thanks for being on the show today, bro.
Oh, thanks for having me. Well, I reached out, so thanks for responding to my DM.
Oh, for sure, man. We always
At the
want to
end
have
of the
people
day,
on,
that's
right?
what this is all about, right? Like we network with
appreciate
people,
the
and
show.
now we have people networking with us. So
Exactly.
it seems like we're on the right path, at least, right?
100%. That's why, like I told you, like the set design and everything is what made me want to reach out. And when I saw McKenna on here, I'm like, I was gonna be here soon because I saw I saw your shit like a week ago.
Yeah.
Like, I have to tap in. Like I have to. Like because even the conversation we had yesterday, it was like same page and everything. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
No,
that's
awesome,
dope.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll have
that's-
a good conversation for sure. So where are you from?
From lots of places. Right now,
I want to hear original origin story.
The origin story,
The
bro.
real. You sound like every girl I've dated. Dad.
Hey, that's what it's about.
So I was born in England. But my parents are Nigerian, so I'm Nigerian. And I moved to Canada when I was 10, 11.
Okay.
And I lived in St. Albert, just outside of Edmonton, suburb of Edmonton. And then once I graduated high school, I moved to Toronto for a year. And then I moved back to Edmonton. And then I moved down to Lethbridge. Stayed there for 2 years. Then I moved back to Edmonton. And now I moved to a couple places in between that, but generally now I'm based in Edmonton. Edmonton's where I call home.
Sounds like a journey.
So where during that journey did you get into being a comedian, like, getting stand-up and
Yeah.
stuff like that? Like where did that come into play?
Yeah, that's a tough question because every time I think about it, like, is that type of shit like you don't know if it's like hindsight, like it's just context that gives you the reasoning, or if it's just like, if it's just random. Because like, in a way, I've always been a comic, which sounds so corny, but like I've always loved humor. I've always loved making people laugh.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. I've always like loved the science behind it. Like I'm like, why like did I make him laugh and shit like that? So like, I've always done that to a certain extent. Like I remember in high school, like I didn't even realize like. So let me just back the way up.
You're good.
Okay. So when I was a comedian, when I saw comedy for the first time.
Okay.
So I remember Chris Rock, my cousins watched it. My parents were very religious. They still are very religious. So I didn't watch any comedy really from them. But when I turned 12, 13, got access to the internet, then I think the real comedian I really fell in love with was Kevin Hart. Like I loved Kevin Hart. His first two specials had me cracking up like 3 a.m. just laughing at Kevin Hart. And then in high school, I remember I was telling stories to friends, and like it got to the point that like, there was like an audience. There were like about 10 people sitting on the floor in the hallway watching me just tell stories and jokes. Again, I still don't realize I'm doing stand-up. I'm just telling stories. I'm just being myself. Then after that, I used to go to a whole bunch of house parties when I was like around 17, 18, around that age. I was going to a bunch of house parties at the time, and I would go from house party. We hit like 3-4 parties in the night. I'll tell a story at the beginning at one party, and then I go to the next house and I'll tell the same story again. And I go to the next house and I tell the story again. So I'm telling the same story like 4 times and I'm refining it.
So you're pretty much rehearsing.
Exactly. I'm working on
going out.
Exactly. I'm working on it. Again, I'm not realizing I'm doing comedy. I'm just being myself.
Yeah. So this is all beforehand.
All
right?
beforehand. And then the real big thing was I've done a couple. I've been the best man at a couple weddings, and so I did 2 best man speeches for my 2 best friends, and I murdered them. Like I murked them. Like I had the whole room dying laughing. Again, I'm just being myself. I'm not going out with material. I'm not doing jokes. I'm just being me. And then I come back, and I was in a relationship at the time, and it wasn't going well. It was really tough. And and at the time, we came back from the trip, and my ex, she went off she went off to see her family or something. So, and we spent so much time together. So it was my first time in a long time, like a week, just to myself, just to think and just to process. And I'm like, I've done nothing new for 3 years. Since I started this relationship, I've done nothing exciting new that like made my like, and I'm like, and also I was cluing in. I'm depressed. Like I didn't clock it in because at the time, I don't want to go into that too much. But like, yeah, I didn't realize with everything that was going on, I didn't realize how depressed I was. Yeah. And I was just like, okay. And then I was on my phone and I was like, just depressed. I was overweight. I was just like down on myself. And then I saw on my phone like a comedy show. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been to a comedy show a couple times. So I'm like, sure. And then but I wanted to go. But I'm like, no, whatever. I'm like, no, like go do it. Go watch the show. So go watch the show. The show's in Edmonton. It's like a 5-minute walk from my house. Go and watch. And it's kind of awkward because it was a very small show, and I'm the only person in there by myself.
Very personal kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I walk in there, and I see so many comedians go up, and they're murdering. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like these are people I don't know. These are just local comics in Edmonton, just fucking destroying. But I also saw people that were ass. Just straight up, just booty water. Like, they were terrible. And I was just like, oh. And I also saw some people that, like, they will tell jokes that will get laughs. I'm like, that wasn't that funny. Like I can make a joke like that. So that's when the first time I could see myself doing it. I was like, oh, like if that person can do it, then I can do it. And that's what we included in. And I feel like because when I first saw stand up, I didn't realize what it was. I thought people went up there and just like did an hour of just stuff off the top of their head, just freestyle the whole thing. And now I realize it's the complete opposite. It's very meticulous. I think that also in combination of me listening to podcasts with comedians and realize how they work over bits and how I enjoy that process of hearing it. And so then from that show, I went home like I'm gonna become a comedian. I knew that from that show. So then I went back. I just went to the school of YouTube, looked up how to write jokes and everything like that. Wrote jokes for 2 weeks straight, just for every day, putting up reps, writing jokes. And I went on stage and March 2020, and it went good. You know, it was really good. And I remember I did my set, whatever, get off stage, and I walk out. I got off stage and walk straight out, and I scream. It's like a fucking like Disney movie. And my brother comes out, and he's like gassing me up. I'm just like, that's it, bro. Like, this is it.
Feeling,
like, I'm like, cause I've tried so much stuff. Like I've tried so much creative endeavors. I'm like, this is it. This is because I love every part of it. I love writing. I love the trash shows. I love the good shows. I love every part of it. And so to find something creative that like, cause I feel like I'm sure you guys are creatives too. Like you have this burn. Like, you feel like almost like constipated. Like you feel like you want to like get this out. You want to like but you don't know how.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing is like everybody has like their own creative sparks, but it's like how do you get that creative spark out?
Yeah. Exactly.
Some people do it through podcasts. Some people do it through photography.
Exactly.
You do it through telling jokes. You know what I mean? So do you think it's important because you're telling me that you like to the way that you went about doing that, right? It's like, do you think it's important to be able to go through different, how do you say this? Go through different aspects, try different things to figure out the thing that you actually want to do, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that like, at least for me, like like we mentioned this before, you need to make mistakes. Like you have to. Like I'm telling you, like that's the only way like anything in your life is gonna work. You have to make mistakes, and you have to understand that like it's gonna be uncomfortable. Like finding something it's not gonna be nice. It's not always gonna be fun.
No.
Like bro, like I love rap music. I've always loved rap music. I've been pretty decent at freestyling.
Yeah.
Bro, but I put my voice on the track. I'm like, yo, this sounds like ass. It's trash.
At least you know that. At least you can like look in the mirror and be like, yeah, like because there's some people that don't have that self-awareness.
Exactly.
And it's just like, who's gonna tell them, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, I was like, this ain't for me. And I tried making YouTube videos, and you know, like it was just monotonous. Like I hated editing, and I tried writing like fucking poetry. I tried. What else did I try? I tried like multiple different things, right? Yeah. But the thing is, now that I'm here, again, this is hindsight, I can see how each thing had an element of it that I like.
Exactly.
Right? I love hip-hop. I love rap music. But I've always loved bars. I've always loved lyrics. Like, anytime I have a lyric, I go crazy. Like, I'm the annoying person, like, you didn't catch me? Like, reel it up. Like, play this shit back again. I've always been that kind of guy. Yeah. And, like, super annoying to listen to music with. Like, I'm in the car. Everyone's, like, trying to jam out and just getting high. I'm like, bro, you didn't clock in.
You hear
bro.
that?
Exactly. Like, that triple entendre, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. So you're saying everything that you've tried beforehand has had a part to play in what you're doing now.
Exactly, yeah, because of like because I was so interested in lyrics and bars. Now when I'm writing, I'm very meticulous. I'm so interested in like the way my jokes are structured. I was very meticulous. Now if you see my sets, I see my jokes. I try to make it seem natural because my all-time favorite comic is Patrice O'Neill, and he's so natural on stage.
Yeah,
and I've always wanted that. I've always wanted to become natural, and I think I'm coming to my own. I'm becoming more and more natural on stage, and but people don't know. I spend hours rearranging, and I love that shit. That's the shit I love. And
like the actual science that goes behind to actually make the joke come off, and even to like be able to say it in a way where people don't even know that you're like there's like it just came to the top of your head kind of thing, right? That you didn't spend hours or not like or just whatever like trying to perfect it, right?
Yeah, like that's a new phenomenon for me. Like I like only the last couple like months or so I've really found that out. Like and before I used to go up, so like I used to like want to remember every line. If I forgot a line, I'll like get flustered. But now I'm just like, I'm funny. I know I'm funny.
Yeah.
So go up there. Like even I have so many shows tonight. I haven't written a set list because I'm just like, I'm gonna go up there and I know I'm gonna figure it out. I haven't written a set list. I don't know.
Do you just have things in the back like just ready to go, fire off kind of thing, or?
Yeah. So on my phone, I probably have more than 20, close to 30 jokes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so on my phone, and so I have jokes written out, so I know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But usually the order what I'm going to say and which joke I'm going to tell. Because I have so many jokes, I often forget jokes. Like, I haven't joke in a while. So it's always a balance because I always love working, because I get bored of jokes very easily. So I like it because it makes me work. I'm always working on new stuff. So it just depends on the show. Like this weekend, beginning of the week, I've been doing more so like jokes I've been working on, like rougher stuff. And now today, like even today, like my first show, I'll probably do some like looser stuff I'm working on. The second show today, it will be a bit more tighter. And then the headlining show I'm doing tonight is gonna be my best shit. Yeah. Like it's just that's how I go through it, you know. And so like I don't really go up with a set list. So I don't go up with like just joke, this joke, this joke. I just kind of go up. I kind of feel the audience. And I kind of talk with them, and then I kind of see what they're into, and I kind of have a joke, and then I have a joke about the topic, and then that's
so in a way, it's kind of like doing improv, then, eh?
Yeah. Like
you have your set list, but at the same time, I feel like it's just there as backup.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you're kind of just feeling out the crowd, seeing how they feel vibe, because you can tell if someone's not vibing with the way you're going, and then you're easily able to navigate in a different way, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like even if they're not vibing with what you're doing. Like sometimes it depends on the crowd. Like sometimes I have this one joke I'll be working on that's like it's like everybody's gay. So like it's just some material I'm working on. And I'm really vulnerable when I talk about it. Essentially the idea of the joke is like I don't know if I'm gay or not. Which is like really super vulnerable, whatever. Honestly, I don't think I'm gay. I think I'm straight.
For the record.
For the record, no, I'm straight.
I think.
But it's just playing with that idea, making people feel uncomfortable. Like I always think that like the fact that like guys are so nervous of like even thinking about it is just like why does it matter? So I'm like, so when I tell the joke, I can see all the guys like, and I'm like,
not gay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I'm doubling down. Like I'm gonna make you feel even more uncomfortable. Or sometimes I tell jokes about white people that like I can see them not liking it, and then I double down. But then other times it's like. It's just like telling a joke, it just doesn't work. I mean, it's just finding that balance, right? So even when someone doesn't like it, sometimes you have to double down and make them like it, and other times you have to back off, and that's the experience that you just learn from it.
Yeah, reading the crowd is probably a huge part of it, right?
Oh,
You're
that's
just
like
interacting with the crowd too, right? Like, have you ever had like a heckler or anything like that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Most hecklers, I don't really know. Most hecklers are fucking annoying. That's what I just want to say. Don't heckle.
Do you heckle back or
honestly,
do you ignore it?
I watched the videos on Facebook like about like the heckling compilations or whatever, like watching comedians, like how they deal with them sometimes is pretty genius, like how they turn everybody against them, but it's like, still
I don't typically like hecklers because usually they think they're being funny. I'm just like, I promise you I've written this joke. I spent hours like I'm funny then. So like shut up. No one came to you, they came to see me. So shut the fuck up. I think the other thing is just like the thing is like you do comedy shows enough, there's always a drunk person that yells. There's always, so it's like again it's repetitive. Like it seems quick in a moment, but I've seen this happen multiple times. You know what I mean? And so I kind of have like little ideas, little bits I have in my back. Because
they probably say the same things.
The same kind of thing. But usually, I do crowd interaction, but it's usually me pointing somebody out to the crowd. Yeah. So for example, this clip, I'm going to put this clip on my Instagram. The show I did this week, I'm telling this joke about my divorce. So I got a divorce, and I'm telling the joke about it. And somebody laughs at the wrong point of the joke. And it's clearly a joke, but so I pretend to get mad. I'm like, bro, you laughing at my divorce, laughing at my pain, bro? And then he just like gets all nervous or whatever. And then I'm like, I'm lucky I only got 5 minutes up here because I would roast your ass. And I go over my set. I try to go back to my joke, and I end up just roasting him, and I go back. And just that interaction was just like those moments.
But that's pure.
It's pure, exactly. And it makes me feel like alive, if that makes sense.
It makes me feel like you're in high school again too, right?
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Like roasting,
It makes me feel like that's the thing I love about comedy is just that like it makes me feel I'm not worried about the future or the past. I'm just in that moment.
You're in the moment.
So like I don't care about nothing. Whereas outside the moment, I'm anxious. I'm looking at the future. I'm looking at the past. I'm worried. But in that moment, I'm the most confident. I'm the most proud of myself. So
I love that.
Do you find that you write your jokes in like scope of, like in a way where like you're like scared to offend people, like getting the whole cancel culture, like when you're writing something, you're kind of
cancel culture. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about it because like on one side I see it, I understand what people are saying, but other time I'm just like a lot of the comics and people, and this might be taboo, whatever, y'all bitching. Like I'm sorry, like you're getting mad that you can't you're a white guy and can't say nigga on stage. Like I'm sorry, like my goal is always to be funny. So the goal, if you're gonna be offensive, you better be more funny than you're gonna be offensive. If you want to be just dirty, you better be more funny than you're gonna be dirty. Yeah. Especially a lot of newer comics to go up and just talk about the dick on stage. Yeah. And they're like, haha. It's like, bro, like you have to have a joke. You have to be funny. Exactly. And so to me the goal is always funny. Now to answer your original thing, like worrying about cancel culture, whatever, worrying about offending. I'm not worried about offending just because I don't think I'm a offensive person.
Yeah.
I tap in with people. Like all of the, and also I don't really joke about communities I don't have a relationship with.
Okay.
Like I've been trying to work on this joke about Jewish people because it just relates to. I grew up Mormon, so it just relates. I have an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know Jewish people enough to make the joke, so I haven't made it. And it's just literally, honestly, until I meet a bunch of Jewish people, I probably won't make that joke.
Yeah.
But jokes when it comes to white people, bro, I grew up in St. Alberta.
Yeah.
I know white people. So I make a bunch of black people. I know black people. Maybe
exactly.
Honestly, that's such a sick way to look at it, right? It's like, fuck, you don't tell a joke that you're not in that space with. It's kind of like being a teacher. You don't teach something that you don't know. So what's the difference, right?
Yeah, facts. Like,
so that's a sick way to look at that.
Yeah, like Andrew Schultz is like this comedian
I love
that
that guy.
like people always like, oh, he's so edgy, whatever. But like the thing is about Andrew Schultz, if you don't watch his comedy, if you look what he's saying, he knows the fuck about what he's talking about when it comes to the communities. That's where the crowd laughs. Because the issue about like race jokes that aren't funny is because oftentimes they'll be like,
there's ignorance in it.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you're running from the cops. I'm like, okay, I don't know one black friend of mine has run from the cops. So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's disconnect, right?
Yeah, but if somebody makes a joke about how like black people are very loud and they like jump around when they laugh, that is true. I can relate to it. So I think that like you just gotta know what you're talking about essentially.
Yeah, 100%.
And to me, it just shows I love being able to play with dangerous topics.
Yeah.
And coming out the side without being offensive. I have jokes that are like they sound offensive.
Yeah.
They sound like when you first hear it, but if you really understand what I'm saying, it's not offensive at all.
Yeah.
I have this joke that about indigenous women. I have this joke, and one time somebody got mad about what I was saying, and I'm just like, bro, am I CNN? This is just a fact. This is not even a joke. I'm just telling you the truth. And so I think that like. Really knowing what you're talking about is just the best way.
I feel like is it even comedy if there isn't a little bit of offense in there? Like,
exactly.
I feel like
everyone's gonna be offended at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, someone's gonna be offended.
That's like, comedy. If you're a comedy fan and you're going to a show or you religiously watch this, I feel like this comes with the culture. Like you should
they need to go back to like 1980s when Eddie Murphy was doing his stand-up shit and then watch that. Yeah, that shit was wild. Like that. Like
but like also times evolve, man. Like times move forward, and like I don't know. To me, a lot of the times when comedians say, "Oh, I can't say what I want like I'm or whatever," I'm worried about cancel culture. I'm just like, you're being lazy. Yeah, because I'm just like, do some homework. Exactly, because I'm just like, to me, there's a skill, there's a talent to be able to talk about race. I have a joke about pronouns, right? I love the joke because of the reaction. But I could promise you, a transgender person can see in the crowd and watch that joke and they'll love it. I could promise you, because again, I take pride in being able to have a dangerous topic like pronouns, right, and be able to say it and play with that joke and have people from that community and everyone else enjoy and take part and love what I'm saying and enjoying the show. Yeah. And so to me, cancel culture is like, I love it. I'm just like, it's
a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah. It makes me laugh even harder. Like in comics that like I heard this one joke this week was comic talking about how people from India and Pakistan look the same, right? And he's a white guy that says it. But the punchline is so brilliant and it's not offensive at all. Yeah. But just fucking So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, cool. That's dope. So one thing I was kind of curious about is like you do this comedian thing. Do you do anything else on the side besides that? Do you have another side of work?
Oh, look, I work. I have a job. Yeah. So I work during the day. I have a basic office job, and then at night I do comedy. And then also like I edit my videos. I shoot my own videos. So that's a big part of it. And I think that goes back to like what you're saying, like trying a whole bunch of stuff. Like I tried filming. I tried video. I've had my camera for years. Yeah. But now I'm only really like I just told you. Like I just figured out how to like change the ISO on my camera. I've had this camera for like 3 years and I just figured it out. Because now I'm really using it. You know what I mean? And it's because I've
You're like, why does this look like this? Like, why can't I make it? Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Like my clips the clips I'm putting up are very well edited. And people are like, oh my gosh, the editing's so good. It's like because I've been editing for like 4 years. Yeah, but now I have a place to really use it, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the reason I asked that is, how do you think you can tie business with the comedian aspect of it? Do you even plan on doing that, or is comedy just a side hustle that you love to do, or do you actually have a business side of it where you think you can actually propel with this and even potentially get further with this?
I get this question a lot. So honestly, what I always say to that is like, Absolutely. Of course, like any artist, if you could do your art full time, 100%, you would want to do it. Now, every artist will tell you that who does it full time, that doing it full time takes away from the art a little bit. And especially comedians. Because to be a professional comedian in Canada, you're touring. And you're touring Canada. So you're touring Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Nunavut. Does that sound like...
Sounds fun.
Exactly. You're touring those...
Sarcasm.
Exactly. Like, those are the places that you're touring. And like, or you're just doing corporate gigs.
Yeah,
that does not sound appealing to me at all. I'll just stay... If that was professional comedian for me, I like my job. I'll just do my job and do comedy on the side. Now, I have ideas of how I can make comedy... If I'm going to be a professional comedian, I'm going to be a professional comedian on my own terms and be in my own way. And I have ideas and plans of how I'm going to do that. Okay. So am I trying to become a professional comedian? Yes. But the way I'm going about it, I think will be more unconventional than most comedians going about it. And it doesn't mean it's better. Yeah. I'm just saying that I'm just trying something different because the path that I see for most professional comedians isn't a path that I would want to take.
Then you'd probably fall out of love with it, and then you'd just be like, "No, it's just another job."
Exactly. Like, the thing is, like, I'm lucky. It's like a lot of times the trope of the starving artist is romanticized. Like it's just like there's nothing romantic about being like, oh, like even the fact that like especially comedians romanticize mental health. Like, oh yeah, I'm messed up. It's just like honestly,
or like an alcoholic, or
like honestly, when I started comedy, I also was losing weight at the same time. So I lost 100 pounds. But at the same time I started comedy. The same time when I started comedy, I left a relationship that wasn't healthy for me. The same time when I started comedy, I got diagnosed with ADHD, and I took medication to help alleviate it. So the more I've taken care of myself, the better of a comedian I've become.
Okay. Yeah.
So the fact that like, I think it's just like comedians being lazy. They're just like they don't want to like make. I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling too much, but I just think that like. Yeah, the trope of the summer artist is romanticized. Like, I like my job, and because I like it, it makes me a better comedian. Because I'm not relying on comedy to... I have my backup. Yeah. Even all the money I make for comedy is being reinvested back in the comedy. So I'm chilling. And so that's the way, if I, want to become professional, I can choose if I want to become professional. It's not like a life or death thing. And that be able to have that choice means that when I do become professional, I'll be like the best I can be.
And you don't also have to take that route that everyone else does just to do the shows, right? Do those corporate gigs, go tour around, do shows that you don't want to do, right? So you're setting yourself up to do what you want to do.
Yeah, like the fact that like like the reason why I don't like doing corporate stuff is because they're like you can't be dirty, obviously. But the thing is, like, my comedy, some of it is dirty, absolutely. But some of my comedy isn't that dirty. Like, but I was going over an agent about my comedy. He's like, what's dirty, what's not dirty? And go over my jokes with him. And he's like, no, won't work. I'm like, why? You're just like, because it has to be like he says, he had a phrase for it. It has to be like squeaky clean. Like I know I have jokes about race. I have jokes about dating. I have and in those jokes, I'm not saying anything offensive. I'm a pronoun joke. It's nothing offensive. I don't curse once in the entire joke. It's not about a gross subject matter. But because it's just about a touchy subject. And again, those are the jokes I like to play with. And so like I'm not gonna write a joke about like croutons.
I was gonna say, what can you write about? Like,
exactly, but that's a talent of itself. Some comedians that could pull humor out of like this comedy cup, this cup, amazing. Like I respect that, but that's not the comedy I'm into.
And I relate to that so much, right? Because it's not the exact same, but when it comes to like me doing videography, for example, when I first started getting into this, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing passion projects. I love this, but now I want to make some money from it. So my first instinct was to do corporate. So I went into doing real estate. And like, I loved it at first, because I'm doing what I love to do. But then I'm like, fuck, I was doing it for a year now. And I'm like watching these videos and I'm fucking shooting empty rooms. And I'm like, yo, this shit is fucking whack. I'm like, yo, this is not like, I love recording, but like, this is not the shit that I'm trying to record. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of like break out of that corporate world. And like, I'm not going to make as much money doing other shit, but I feel like it's a better path for me to be able to, do what I actually like doing, what I actually like recording, and then potentially make income from it. You know what I mean? So like me doing that corporate stuff, it led me to actually going to where I want to be with my videography. So I feel like that's where I relate with what you're saying. 100%.
I think people forget that, like, especially when you're making your art, you can forget that, like, I just like realized recently, like, my jokes are me. My jokes are part of me. Because like when people laugh at my jokes, because when I'm on stage, there's glimpses of me being myself. And so when I'm being myself, and the crowd's loving it, they're laughing, and they come back to me on the show to take pictures with me, and they don't want to follow me on Instagram. And they will do all that stuff. They're accepting me because I'm being my most raw and vulnerable self. I'm telling stuff, like I told you, like I have a joke, like me being gay, like stuff I'll never tell a million people I'm saying on stage. So for that to be accepted, so but like we're saying, going to the corporate side, you can't do whatever you want because you have a client. You have to do what they want. And so that...
It kills the creativity.
It kills it.
It kills it.
So...
What inspires you to make the jokes that you make?
Yeah, I like this guy. He's some good ass questions. I appreciate it. The black man doing all the work in this group here now.
Comedian coming out, bro. I even asked him to do a little fucking skit, so who knows? Maybe he might, maybe he will.
Yeah, then you put monkeys on the stage, but I don't know what's the fuck. Black History Month just ended.
You need an audience, fam.
Yeah, so when it comes to my inspiration, it's just all my jokes come from experiences I've been through. So a lot of my jokes are about my family, about my dad, about women I've been with. A lot of my jokes are about the stuff I've been experienced. And now, so I know that's kind of vague, but what typically happens is that like something will come to my mind, just like oftentimes through conversation. We'll be talking, chopping it up, or whatever, and somebody will say something that will spark something in my head, my mind. Yeah. And what's often the case, it's not funny. Oftentimes when I'm like, that's a joke, people are like, huh? Like, I didn't say anything funny. Something you might say. I'd be like, that's a joke. Yeah. Just like how kind of a photographer sees like a skyline, like that's the picture. Yeah. Although it might see like this mug or this, that, like, oh, that's a photo. Because like when I write jokes, the more I do comedy, the more I hear jokes. The more and more jokes become more and more obvious to me. Yeah. So that's how like. So I pull all my jokes come from my personal experiences, just conversations I have. So they just come through that way. Right. And so my process is like throughout the week, I might like take a little bits down, whatever. When I feel inspired, I might write a little bit here, a little bit here. So like I usually write like 1 or 2 ideas a day. And then usually Saturday morning is my day. I block off the whole morning, probably like till 1 o'clock. I just write. And that's when I really flesh out the jokes. I really flesh out the ideas, and I really flesh out what I'm going to say. Okay. And then I take that idea, and then I go on stage, and I forget it. Because I need to say it the way it feels the most raw, the most authentic, and it comes out the most best way.
So when you like come up with an idea, do you like write like different versions of the joke, or is it just like one version? If this works, it doesn't work. Like, do you know what I mean?
I write one version. So like when I'm making that one version, of course it's going through multiple iterations. I might have like different ways of saying things. Yeah. And when I go on stage, like I said, I forget it. So I just try I really just try to remember the punchline. So like the part that's gonna make people laugh, I just remember that, and I just have to get there. Yeah. That's it. So usually, as I'm saying it, I might remember something I wrote down. I won't. Sometimes I won't. Oftentimes I'll come up with something on the spot that works. Sometimes I won't.
Sometimes I'm sure it would even be better than what you actually had.
100%. And then something I get to, especially when it's really emotional stuff. Yeah. I usually it just comes better when I just say it. Yeah. And then I get to the punchline, and that's why I record all my sets. If you're a comedian not recording your sets, you're a dumbass. That's why I record every single set. Yeah. You have to have video, not just audio, because my mannerisms, my face, how I hold like. But people don't understand how calculated my shit is, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, so the way I hold my mic stand is calculated. Yeah. The way I like move around stage, it's all calculated. So, so that's how I forgot what the fucking question was, but that's how I write my jokes, and those is what inspires me.
It's kind of like when football players go watch their games afterwards. You like watch their sets and study it all, and just like
And that's what
get it down to. You got to study your craft at the end of the day. If you're trying to be at the best at what you're trying to do, then you got to do some fucking work. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not everybody, but people that do this shit, we have talent. But at the end of the day, talent doesn't take you, or it only take you so far. Exactly. At the end of the day, you have to put the work in to mix with the talent, right?
100%.
Because I feel the way I see it, hard work outweighs talent.
100%. Yes, most cases. Now, if you're not funny at all, or if you're tone deaf, I don't care how hard you work, you probably ain't gonna make it. Yeah. You can do it for fun, but you probably ain't gonna make it. Yeah. When I started comedy, I knew it was funny, but every comedian thinks they're funny. Yeah. So what does that mean? That means nothing, right? But also when I started doing comedy, I knew I had a natural gift for it, because I knew lots of people told me that you're very good for somebody who just started. Because when I first did it, people were like, that's your first show? Like, they were surprised how young. Even now, people are like, you only do it for so long, you're as good as you are. Yeah. And it's because like I work relentlessly hard. Like I work relentless. Like Like last night, I got home like at 10 or whatever. And I was in my car on my phone writing to like 1 or 2 in the morning because like I work so hard at what I do because I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Like I piss off everybody around me because I talk about comedy all the time. Like I'm addicted to it, and so that obsession helps me drive me to become better. Every set I do, I'm always looking at how I can tweak it to make it better. Every set I do, good or bad. I never rest on my laurels.
Yeah, because we were having that conversation the other day, and that's kind of what you were talking about. It's just like you will say a joke, or you said that you went to the party, and then you're like, okay, well, I said this joke, and then you literally asked me, it's like, okay, how did I make that person laugh? Why did they laugh? You're questioning the reasonings behind why they're laughing at your jokes, and I think that's so smart to do, right? Because like that's how you understand why somebody laughs at something, and then once you understand that, I feel like it's so much easier of a process to be able to make jokes.
100%, and like the like, and being a comedian when it comes to specifically writing jokes and stuff like that, it's all about saying the least amount possible. People think that because you're up there for talking for 10, 20 minutes,
less is better.
You have to say the least amount as you humanly can say. You need to tell enough so people understand the setup. So the setup, they understand the context, and just to get to the punchline. And that takes skill and talent, and it takes a lot of work, because usually when I write jokes, how most comedians write jokes, you write enough, write a lot, you have the idea, you see a joke, you find the main laugh, the people you laugh at, and get okay, cool. You go back and you take out the parts that didn't make any real laugh.
You get the timing of it.
Yeah, you get the timing. Oh, timing is huge too. Timing is massive. People and timing is like, I think is somewhat of a talent thing. Timing is like music. It's like you have to have an ear for it. Like sometimes some jokes I write down. If I wrote down the joke for you and I showed it to you, you'd be like, "That's not funny."
Yeah, or like if I were to read it, it'd be way different from when you were to read it, right?
Because I literally
delivery is everything.
Delivery, timing.
Yeah, and that's another thing I learned recently. because when I first started comedy, I was because I knew I was naturally funny. I was so obsessed with writing. So, but what ended up happening, it made me robotic. It made me sound really rigid on stage, and I was so obsessed with timing, I forgot about delivery. Now, this change I made is like, I'm still obsessed with writing, but now delivery is important to me. And so now I don't care if I don't say anything I wrote, as long as I'm talking, and as long as I'm talking and I just say what I want to say, I get the general idea, I'm happy. I don't care about being specific anymore. Because again, now now I treat the stage like game day. Like there's no more like doing push-ups on the court. Like either you show up or you don't.
Do it or you don't.
Exactly. If I'm trying to like fucking guard LeBron James, I can't be like thinking about like, how many squats can I do so I can get in a good position? It's too late now. Now is the time to do it. You know? So that's how I see the stage now. I'm like, it's too late for me to like remember what joke. No. Live in the moment. This is what matters. Because I'd much rather bomb being myself, being the biggest I can be, than bomb, than bomb me not being myself. You know what I mean?
Do you think you can? So not related to sports at all. So I would think just more in a creative aspect. Do you think you can practice too much, or I would just use that word for now, practice too much. So I'll give you an example. When I first started doing videography, all I did was just fucking sit on YouTube, learning everything that I could learn about fucking videos, about editing, about filming, all that stuff. But then I caught myself not filming because I'm fucking just trying to study so much. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't know this. So instead of me going to film, I'm just going to keep studying. So do you think there is a fine line of studying or learning or practicing too much?
Yeah, I think most people, if you want to do something, don't study it. Just do it. Studying is a waste of time. Yeah. Because you don't know what you don't know. Because when you actually start doing something, then you know what you need to study. Yeah. How you know how you gonna know what you're gonna
like action is like 100%.
Like how you gonna know like how to like of course it's just gonna wash over you. Like like all the stuff I watched so many videos about like editing videos and like how to title a thumbnail. I don't remember any of it. Because you don't have any context to place it in. It's like when you actually do something. Oh, sorry. When you actually do something, you make something. It's like it's like you're making a jigsaw puzzle and there's pieces missing. Now, because there's pieces missing, now you know how to go find the piece. Imagine you just have no jigsaw puzzle and now you're trying to find missing pieces. It's a waste of your time.
That's so true.
So like when it came to even when it came to my comedy, I looked up how to write jokes, whatever. But I wrote jokes that day. No matter how bad they were, I started writing. Yeah. So then it just helped me become more better at writing. And like even when it comes to my editing now or stuff like that, I'm looking at very specific things. I'm like, how can I zoom in here? How can I make the text show up this way? Because when I first, even look at my first 3 clips on my Instagram recently, you can tell the difference in the editing style in each one, and me getting better and better and better. So if you want to do something, just do it. It's a waste of your time looking it up. Just admit you like watching people do it. Something I like to watch people do. I love to watch people cook. It's cool. Yeah. I don't like doing it. So just admit to yourself that like, be honest with yourself. Be honest that like, you don't like doing it. That's fine. Because if you like doing it, if you like comedy or if you like anything, you can't just like the good parts of it. Right? Like, the spirit of it. I love being on stage, and I love when the crowd laughs, and I love when I get an applause break and people come up to me after the show. That happens, at least so far, that happens maybe once a month. So, and I do comedy on myself every single night. So that's not enough to keep me going. All the time, I did a show in a taco restaurant. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I was the bar was like one step off the ground, and I'm standing behind a railing on the bar doing a comedy show, and it's like the room is so large and the audio is so bad, people can't hear me in the back of the place. So they're just talking. So anytime I like literally stop talking, everyone just talks over me. I loved it. Yeah. Because even though it sucked and it was uncomfortable, it was just me sharpening my steel. Because then when I do good shows, when it's like a packed out house, like tonight, it's gonna be. I'm doing a solo show. I'm probably do 2 or 3 solo shows tonight. Sick. This is game day now. Now it's like those shows I'm running through sand. When it's the taco house, I'm running through sand. The taco house, the taco restaurant. I'm running through sand.
We feel you.
But now I'm running on a track. During the club. That's why when people heckle me
in sharpens your sword a little bit.
Exactly. When people heckle me in a comedy club, I'm like, bro, I had a drunk woman scream at me like in Camrose for like 15 minutes straight. This is nothing. This is you can't do nothing.
Yeah. So you saying that though, do you think because you told me that you said that you like people cheering for you, yada yada. Yeah. Do you think liking that affects hearing hecklers and hearing boos and like anything that's negative towards your act? Do you think that affects each other, or are you able to separate the two, or does it actually affect you?
Of course, everything affects me. I think that any community will lie if it doesn't affect you, and it should affect you. That's what the audience wants. Like any show, the biggest difference between the last jump, because every couple months, especially doing comedy a lot, I make a big jump. So the last couple weeks, especially this week of me doing comedy in Calgary, I made a fairly significant jump. And the audience wants, the main thing about comedy, the main crux of it is humor and connection. People want to feel like you're talking to them. And if I'm talking to you and you say something, you like shout at me or yell at me, and I just keep talking like a robot, you're like, who is this guy? Yeah. You know what I mean? So you need to respond somewhat. Even if the response is like, shut the fuck up. Even if that's the response, you need to respond somewhat to the crowd. So when people heckle me or whatever, or like don't like my jokes, it's not a big deal, because also human beings are pain adverse. So yeah, of course you're gonna remember that one time when someone did like your joke or people heckled you, whatever. But also, most times, almost, let's be conservative and say 3 times out of 10, I bomb. Or show doesn't go the way I hope. There's still 7 times I'm doing good, or at least decent. So why the fuck should I focus on the 3 times? Yeah. Because the thing is like I'm getting those 7 times are getting better, and better and better, and then shrink down to increases to 8 times, then 9 times. You know what I'm saying? So
just gotta keep it pushing, just keep it going.
Exactly. They're like, don't stop, man. Like if you really love something, and admit to yourself, you don't have to do this. You don't, like I'm saying, like this is for me. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to be tenacious. This is I thoroughly enjoy this, right? But if you want to be the best of your craft or whatever you do, you have to be realistic with yourself. Yeah, you just have to be. Like, there's no other way around it.
Self-awareness is huge.
It's like kind of when we first started this podcast, like our first episode, we were like kept on redoing it because we're like, oh, this is trash. And then we're just like, know what? Like, we just have to bite the bullet and get this out there. Yeah. And then just keep moving forward. That's it. Don't look past. Like, just keep growing from every episode that we put out, and just make sure we just keep it pushing, right? Like, just
it's pretty sick though, because we actually did get past that hump, right? So like he was saying, it took us 5 tries
to do the first episode.
Yeah. But since then, we don't reshoot shit.
Yeah, no, we don't. We
shoot one time, and that's
whether we like it or not,
it is what it is. We did our best, and we learn from what we didn't do well.
Like our one video.
We fucked up on a couple.
Oh no, I heard.
McKenna's.
I'm like, you have mics and it sounds like it's recorded off an iPhone.
That's what I mean. It's like we have 3 mics here, and it's like, why the fuck are our mics sounding like this? So I'm sure, I don't know if everybody even noticed.
I'm sure people that were like had a keen ear for it. They know.
I noticed for sure.
That's what I mean. Everybody comes to me and they're like, oh, you guys should probably just delete that episode and reshoot it. And I'm like, fuck. Why the hell would I even do that? Like, at the end of the day, it's not like the footage is like horrible. If you're able to get through it, like, I think that's good enough. I don't think that we have to go through all the effort to reshoot something. I want to show, like, at the end of the day, this is raw.
There's so much good content in there too. So much raw that we'll never be able to get again. That was the whole thing as well, right? So
I think people like quality over quantity. Quality quantity is like a balance. But I think, especially when you get started in something, it's mostly quantity.
Yo, for sure.
You could be quality when you get proficient at it, but it's mostly getting your reps up. Because like I said before, it's like the puzzle thing. You know, make sure the fucking audio is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you know, right? And people keep thinking, I keep thinking, I'm like, this joke, this set has to be the best set ever because this is what's going to get me noticed. This is whatever. And it's like, no, because this is probably going to be ass in 6 months to me. Because I'm improving.
Yeah, exactly.
I did a show 2 weeks ago or so. I did a show and a whole bunch of people came to it, and I did pretty good. And I was like, that's probably the best set I've ever had. And then this week on Monday, I did the best set I ever had. 2 weeks later, so just put your stuff out there. It's especially, and the way I look at it, especially when it comes to content, like specifically on the internet. And the way I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, I'm not expecting one clip to blow up. I don't care if one clip blows up. I want to have a catalog. Because anybody I've got interested, that I fall in love with, I see one clip, I'm like, okay, whatever. It's pretty funny. I see another clip, it's pretty funny. Then I'm like, okay. I go to their page and I see clips after clip after clip, or YouTube video after YouTube video, or podcast after every podcast, or film after every film. I see the quantity of the work they have. And even if it's not particularly super good, I have a connection with them.
You see the work.
Right? I see the work and I respect it. So I'll just say so it's like, especially when you're starting something, it's quantity over quality. You can worry about quality further down the line.
Because then you fine tune all those things, right, to get to the quality, right? That's the thing. Yeah.
And it's actually funny. Like, it's not fully related, but I was just thinking about this. It's like, you see those viral videos that get popping, and then I feel like a lot of people will see that video and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to go do that. Let me go put out a video and try to get viral off my first video. But then they don't actually realize, I guarantee you, if you go look at every single video that went viral and you look at the person that posted it, it wasn't their first video that made them go viral. They probably had 1,000 videos before that one video that went viral. People don't realize the work that people are actually putting in. They think, that video went viral. It's probably their first video. Let me try that. And then they don't put in the work and they wonder why they don't fucking get far with it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just the thing with TikTok, though. I feel it kind of does that as well, right? Because you just see their number one video. You don't actually see the rest of the stuff that they did before they got there. Just all that kind of stuff. Even with music too. You only see the one song that popped off. So you're like, oh, so this came out of nowhere.
Doing music
exactly. You don't see that, right? So
it's so dumb. People. Yeah, and the thing is, it's time tells all, bro. Time, I play the long game. Everything I play the long game. Even when I'm doing comedy and everything, I'm not thinking now. I'm thinking at least 5 years away from now. I have a game plan of how this thing's gonna go. So in my mind, I'm even if this is your first time, you got lucky. Let's say you hit the lottery and it's your first clip. Quality is, people gonna find out.
Yeah, you're gonna need another one.
Exactly. The Island Boys, where are they now? They came and they went. So quality is exactly. Yeah. So. And the thing is it might be fun, but it'll be fleeting. You know what I mean? The reason why comedy brings me so much joy because it's consistent.
Yeah, exactly.
It's consistent.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Consistency is key too, right? Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna jump into the next segment. It's called This or That.
This or That. Alrighty. Netflix or Prime?
Who uses Prime?
Yo, a lot of people do. Yeah. I won't even lie to you. I'm gonna just jump in. I use Prime for 2 shows. Yeah. But fuck those 2 shows. I can't watch them unless I got Prime. You know?
No, I don't care about Rick and Morty. I actually.
Yo, this guy trying to get me on Rick and Morty is so tough. I'm like, yo, this is not for me. Yo.
You look like you're into Rick and Morty, bro.
Yeah, man. Rick and Morty's sick. What the fuck?
Yeah,
you guys just don't get it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. Netflix, but I don't really watch either. So.
Okay.
But you choose Netflix.
Yeah.
Got you.
So you can chill with it.
Yeah. Owe money or owe a favor?
Owe money or owe a favor? I'm broke, so over favor.
Say less.
Say less.
See the future or change the past?
What's a good one? See the future or change the past? I'd rather change the past. Honestly, before I wanted to be able to see the future, but like I cannot, bro. If I 18-year-old me, if you would told me I would be here now, I would be a comedian that isn't Mormon anymore, that's been divorced, but he's also the happiest he's ever been in his entire life, I would have been like, you're fucking lying. You're lying. So I love the serendipity and not knowing, because I didn't even know 3 weeks ago. I didn't know I'll be here.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, why the hell would I want to find out? Let it just happen.
Let it happen.
Also, because if it's positive, I'm going to be thinking about it all the time. Also, if it's negative, I'll be thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah.
Like
if you see those shows like the Flash, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but anyways, that's exactly what happens. They go back in the future and then they know what's gonna happen. So then now they're trying to prevent whatever is gonna happen, and then they fuck it up. Then they go back, they fuck it up, they go back, they fuck it, and because of how that works, it just keeps fucking up the whole cycle, right? Like obviously this is not real life, but like it has, it's the same kind of sense. It's like fuck, you just think about it too much and you just make mistakes from it, right?
Yeah, just focus on the now, and I think that's what the biggest thing that art does for me, and I think that's for most people. It allows you to forget about the future and the past. You just focus on right now because that's what you got.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it sounds like I should be like saying "live, love, laugh" after that shit.
All right, next one: sneakers or dress shoes?
What the sneakers? Why would I always wear dress shoes all the time?
Some people like to be suited up,
They're uncomfortable as fuck. I have to wear like dress shoes to work all the time, and they're the most sneaker looking dress shoes I could get. Yeah. So sneakers, easy.
Growth or security?
Growth. They're easy. Because security is boring. Like, okay.
Gotcha,
I'd rather swing for the fences.
Get fat security.
Exactly.
Right? I feel like if we ask this question to any creative, it's automatically growth, because like that's what creatives are. They want to be entrepreneurs at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Right? Like they want to live by their own word.
Growth.
Yeah. So funny story or one-liners?
Funny story.
Wait, sorry.
That's the thing is like I don't write stories. It sounds like I'm telling a story, but if I try like I went to the park one day, I can't make it funny because there's so much setup. There's so much like I have to explain it so much for you to understand the joke. Yeah. So usually I write jokes and I build stories around them. So I write punchlines and I build a story around the punchline. Therefore, like it's funny, but there's also a little bit of story, a little bit of through line. Like even tonight, the set that I'm doing, again, I'm headlining my first set ever. Yeah. So I know I have to have a theme. I have to have like a flow to it. So it sounds like one big story. So all I'm doing, so this is Inside Baseball. I'm trying to ruin it for you guys. I'm getting all my jokes about my parents. I'm putting it all together.
Oh, okay.
So it sounds like it's gonna be like one big story, but these are jokes that I've written at different times that I put together. So yeah, I will say story, but I don't write stories. I write jokes.
Okay. Time machine or magic wand? That's a tough one, actually.
Actually, I have a joke about black people on time machines. So, because of that joke,
are you saying that because you're gonna spit it?
No, you gotta check out my Instagram. So because of that joke, I don't give away too much, but I can't say time machines because of that joke. I'll say magic wand. And also because New Magic Wand by Tyler, the creator, played in my head as soon as he said it. So,
all right.
Say less.
All right. Do you like a phone in the bathroom or no phone in the bathroom?
Phone always in the bathroom. Like that's the thing is like again, I have ADHD. I always, if I'm not talking, I have something playing, I have music playing, I have podcasts playing, I have YouTube videos playing. Yeah. I'm like, so something always playing. So yeah, if I'm phone always in the bathroom.
Do you like happy endings or sad endings?
Who the hell likes a sad ending? I like happy endings. Nah, I like.
Wait, what kind of happy ending are we talking about?
Depends where we're at. Depends where we're at. Depends where we're at. It depends by who. Actually, facts. If it's like ugly ass person that's trying to keep me happy ending, I don't want that. That's a sad ending.
This is somewhat PG, so we'll leave that.
This is not.
I know for real. All right. Book smarts or street smart?
Both. Like I can't pick one, bro. Like
you got to.
Nah. Because like I think the reason again, I know I'm gonna big myself
give
up.
us a percentage.
50-50, bro.
And 50-50 is not an option. Bro, I have a gun to your head.
I'm gonna die.
Your brains are getting blown out.
I'm gonna die. Actually, no, I'm gonna say what you need to because I'll be street smart in that moment. But that's what I love about my comedy is just like it's dumb but it's smart at the same time. That's the best kind of comedy. That's why I said both. I like the fact that like I'm smart and intelligent.
I feel that.
But I like the fact that it's also stupid. Yeah. That's the best part about it.
No, I feel that. Good answer.
Sick.
All right,
Well,
dope.
fuck, there's that. There's
that's all the
this and
questions
that.
we had.
This or that.
Yeah, that's been
super dope being on the show.
man.
Oh, it's been so fun.
We're gonna have to do a part 2 in Edmonton for sure.
Absolute fuck it, bro.
Yeah, come
Pull
link
the
up.
fuck up. Podtiez on the go, alright?
Yeah, we're gonna need to do a world tour soon.
Oh yeah.
100%.
But yeah, give yourself a shout out, or also if you have any shows coming up in the future or anything like that.
Yeah, this is weird.
This is the future, as in like next month, because it ain't gonna be be posted this month.
I know this is like crazy because I always listen to podcasts when they plug this stuff. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, but I'm doing it. Oh, that's crazy.
Manifestation, bro.
Yeah. First, my Instagram is the first place you can find me at. Tosan tells jokes. Tosan tells jokes. You just look at my clips there. Also, that's where I post my show times and stuff like that. Links in my bio always. When it comes to shows coming up, of course, I'm in Calgary right now. I'm doing shows all the time right now. But
you'll need a time machine to get back here.
Exactly. Right. So pick that up with the magic wand. But when it comes to shows coming in the future, because it's happening in a month, I have announcement. I'm starting a new show at Sea Change Brewery in Beaumont. Boo. Yeah, so that show is happening. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, honestly, stay plugged into my Instagram. That's where my show days come in. And honestly, thank you guys so fucking much. It's been a fucking blast.
Yeah,
I appreciate y'all. You keep doing what you're doing. And
the
main reason why I want to come do this, because I feel like we're in similar places. Like, you just guys start popping off with your podcast. I'm just popping off with my comedy. This is the best shit, because I can't wait to like revisit like how far I went with comedy and how far you went with podcasts.
Bro, trust. Mark this day, bro. Everything with both of us, all three of us, is gonna come full circle, fam.
Absolutely.
Trust me.
Yeah.